All right, we'll start here. Thank y'all so much for joining. I'm going to record this and I'll put it on my YouTube channel. And then if you think of somebody that really needs to hear this, you can share it with them. Because I know so many women are looking for help and there's so many options out there. But this may be a great fit. So it may be a good fit for you or for somebody else that you love and care for. But before we start, I just felt the Lord say you need to pray first. So I'm going to just go to the Lord and ask for prayer. So just pray with me. Lord, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for every lady on. Father God, I pray that you help them have clarity and have a good takeaway, something that will really help them. And God, if they have more questions and if this is a good program for them, they'll know it, God. And if someone's listening to the replay, God, just show up where they are. And Father God, if this is not the right program, that's okay too. But I just want every woman to be blessed just for being here and hearing our stories, to be encouraged, to be inspired, and to know that help is available and that whatever you put on their heart, Lord, they can do. We can do all things through Jesus who strengthens us. So show us, Lord, and be with us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so let me share my screen and we'll get right in it because I want to value your time and thank y'all for joining because I know there's probably a million things you could be doing right now. So this is my menopause weight loss program. Um, and we could call it a million things, but I thought this kind of gets to the point because when I went through menopause, I gained a lot of weight and a lot of things happened at that time. And I realized that it is normal for our age. You may have aging parents you're taking care of. You may have teenagers or young adults that are driving you crazy. A lot of stress. Women our age have a lot of stress. And then when our hormones are out of balance, we're having the hot flashes, we're feeling all emotional. And that's what happened to me. And it took me about 6 months to lose the weight and get in shape. And I just thought I would share a little bit of my story. The picture on the left, I look so happy, and I
Progress.
really was. If you want to mute out, that'd be awesome. That way, there won't be any background noise. Thank you.
Sorry about
Thanks
that.
for joining. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. So, the picture on the left is at an event. I was doing a Bible study. It was during the pandemic and we had moved to a new community and I left the home that was my happiest home ever. We lived in the same house for 20 years, raised our kids, became empty nesters. Our two little dogs died, and I've had dogs all my life. I've never gone without a dog. Okay. And I just listened to a podcast today. There's so many benefits, and one is a mental health benefit when you have animals. So I was really in a low place, but I was still doing Bible study, still seeking God, of course, and trying to live my life. And that picture was at an event. I was doing a Bible study for strippers. Yes, women who had come out of stripping, and we were doing a Bible study and wanted to end our study with a Zumba party. And I love using Christian music and praising Jesus and dance. So that's what we were doing. And we collaborated with another Bible study who were women who just came out of sex trafficking. And I mean, this group of women were just amazing, and the joy of the Lord was there. But when I saw the pictures from the event, it was like, oh my gosh, I have gotten so fat. I just felt that. I felt so like not myself, like ashamed even. I didn't want these pictures out because, here I am, the fitness age. I've been teaching for 30 years. I've always wanted to be healthy and fit, and it just made me sad. And that's kind of where I drew the line in the sand and I said, enough. I'm not going to gain any more weight. I need help. And y'all, my daughter actually had gone through a bad relationship, gained a lot of weight, and was losing it. And she helped me. She helped me get started. And I developed a whole program because I share on social media, and everybody's like, what are you doing? So I'm going to share that tonight. Um, but one thing I always want to say is love yourself right where you are. You are beautiful. You are precious. The Lord says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's my desire for every woman to know how precious they are and how loved they are. So I never, ever, ever want you to feel like when I lose the weight, I will love myself because it really starts now where you are. And when you really love yourself, you give yourself grace, just like you would a best friend. You would never tell your best friend, you need to lose weight, right? You love her and you see her for her beauty inward. And that's what this is all about. It's progress over perfection. So we want to be the best versions of ourselves, of course, and be happy and healthy and fit and be able to do all the things we want to do. But we have to remember we're not going to be perfect. I'm at a great place right now, but I'm not perfect in any way. And I don't care about that. I just want to every day live my best life for God and for my family. And you're worth it. That's another thing. A lot of women don't take care of themselves because they don't feel worthy, but you are worthy. You're worth it. And I want you to think about your long-term goals too. A lot of people want to lose 5 or 10 pounds to get in a dress for a wedding or whatever that is. And that's understandable. But I want you to think you're worth it for the long haul. Like when you're 80 years old, you want to feel good. You want to be able to move, right? You want to be able to do things. And I always like for women to imagine where they want to be in 6 months, where you want to be in a year, where do you want to be in 5 years? And if you look at a picture of your 8-year-old self, don't you want to make that little girl proud? Make that little 8-year-old version of yourself proud. And so, one thing I say is look for NSV. And if you're in our group or in my coaching, you know what that is, non-scale victories. We're more than just a number on the scale. So, it is a weight loss group coaching system, but it's more than that. So, one thing I like to say is don't just go by the number on the scale. Also, take photos regularly because you will start to see your face change. You will start to see things change. And if you could take a photo in like a sports bra and shorts and do that once a week, you will be amazed. And then notice how your clothes fit. Your clothes will start to fit looser, the waistline especially. Measure your waistline too. It's always good to take measurements instead of just going by the scale because a lot of times you'll start to lose inches before you see the pounds move. And then I put get a body scan for body composition. Now you may not have access for that, but if you start looking for it, you'll probably find it. Our gym has one. A lot of gyms have them. And it's called a DEXA scan or an body scan. And that tells you a percentage of how much of your body is muscle, how much of your body is fat. And it's really good because we don't want to just lose weight. We want to lose body fat. And we really want to get stronger and have more muscle definition. So, the main way to change your body is with nutrition. A lot of people think it's just going and doing tons of cardio. That's not the answer. The answer really starts with your nutrition. And I always say eat real whole food and limit the processed foods as much as possible. Now, it's funny because I've been sharing a lot about this call and I've gotten some messages. One friend said, "Hey, can I have wine and bread on your diet?" And it made me giggle. And I was like, well, you can. We'll talk more about it and learn more about the benefits of not eating those things. But it was just funny. And then, I've had conversations. Can I have pasta? Yes, you can. It really is about the numbers, and I'm going to teach you a little more about that later. But the more you start this program, the more you'll see the benefits of eating the real whole food. And it really is a journey. Okay. I want everybody to know that nobody's going to be perfect. You may be eating 100% processed right now. Everything's in a box, but over time it's going to change and you'll get to where you're eating 50-50 and you're like, wow, I see the difference. And then before you know it, you've gotten all the processed foods out, but nobody's going to start out being perfect. And then also, it's not about a particular diet. A lot of people have asked me, are you doing carnivore? Are you doing keto? Are you a vegan? And I always say, no, none of that matters. It really doesn't because once you learn about the numbers, and we'll get to that, you'll see that you could really eat just about any diet and do this. And I love the Bible. Genesis 9:3 says we can eat animals and plants. We have freedom. There are some certain foods that God says are not beneficial, but everything's permissible. And we can learn more about that as we go. So I'll share that later. But getting started, when you first decide, yes, I want to lose weight, the main thing is to get in a calorie deficit. And the reasons all these diets work is because they're putting you in a calorie deficit. When you cut out certain food groups, you're getting in a calorie deficit. But the calorie deficit just means you're consuming less food than you're burning. It takes 3,500 calories to lose a pound. So if you cut out 500 calories a day, that's 1 pound a week. And that is very a healthy goal is to lose one a week. So what we do is get in a calorie deficit and it's easy with an app. You do not have to do math. Okay. I'm not a math person. So numbers might scare you, but they really don't have to. If you can get an app and start logging your food, and there's several apps out there. I have one that I like in particular, but if you start logging your food, it will show you how many calories you're eating. And a lot of times that's a wake up call. I was eating healthy because I'm a brain tumor survivor. I want to eat for my health. But I was eating bags of cashews, jumbo avocados every day. And those calories add up, let me just tell you. So, by making it a daily habit to log your food, you'll gain valuable insights into your eating patterns, helping you make informed choices. You won't be guessing anymore. Eating healthy can still mean too much. And calories do matter. I have to nail that one down because a lot of people say just eat healthy, and that's what I was doing, but you can gain weight. And then we lose muscle and bone density during menopause. Y'all know that. You actually start losing muscle mass at age 30. That is so young, isn't it? That's why it's so important. If you have daughters, teach them now to start working on building that muscle. So, so important. So, we focus on building muscle while we're losing inches and body fat. It's called recomposition. So, we want more muscle, less fat. So, the number on the scale doesn't always change a lot. You'll notice that. We add strength training and protein makes us look better. So when you get the strength training in and then you add the protein, your body is going to change. Those are the two biggest things, I believe. So you look better, you feel better, and it helps you live longer. If you don't follow Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, I have learned so much from her about building muscle. Um, she's just amazing at helping you understand that. And then, okay, well, let's go back to exercise. That's one of the keys. Y'all know I've been teaching for 30 years. I used to do cardio every day, and I thought the more I sweat, the better. I thought the more I get my heart rate up and keep it up, the highest, that's the better. But really, I was causing stress on my body, and I was not building muscle. So the top priority is the strength training. And progressive overload is where the magic really happens because if you're doing strength training and you're using the same 5 pound dumbbells for 5 years, guess what? You're not going to build muscle. That's really endurance training. And I learned that. And I still teach classes with lighter weights, and I love it because I'm staying active. It's helping me to stay active. But to really build the muscle, we need that progressive overload. And that just means you're challenging yourself with heavier weights. So in my program, we do 3 workouts a week, and each week you add a little bit more weight. And then by the end of the month, the women in our group, I'm so proud, are lifting 20s and 25s, right? We start out with maybe 10s and 12s, but we all work at our own pace. You just want to get heavier weights and get stronger. And then I put stay active, avoid stressful cardio. Like I said, I did cardio, cardio, cardio. Now, what I've learned is you need to stay in zone 2, which is like walking at a nice, easy pace. I do wear a weighted vest. A lot of us are wearing weighted vests now. That helps you burn more calories. It helps you build more muscle and build more bone density. So staying active is the key and not stressing your body out with these high intensity cardio workouts because they actually can make you gain weight. You can gain belly fat when you do too much high intensity cardio. Okay, macros. So this is where we really start getting into the numbers, like I said, when you log your food. We will look at fats. We need our healthy fats. That's going to feed our brain. And there's so many more benefits. I'll just put the main thing here. And then we get our fiber from carbs. So not all carbs are bad. And that's a misconception out there. There are simple carbs that we want to avoid, like cakes and cookies and things like that. But every now and then, of course, you can put them in there. You just have to count them, right? So that the carbs will help you have energy. But fiber is so important for your gut health. So people who never eat fiber, they may have some struggles with their immune system. It helps your mental health also to have fiber. There's so many benefits. So I think it's important for our health to have that. And then, of course, proteins, lots of food with lots of protein. We want high quality proteins too. And what I've learned, because I went from a plant-based diet to a high protein diet, what I've learned, especially from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, is that plant protein, you can get your protein there. And Carrie, who's on here, is a vegetarian. I was a little concerned, but she did it. She nailed it. But it can just be a little more tricky, a little more complicated because they usually have lower amounts of amino acids, and that's what makes up the protein. That's what's really important about the protein is getting all those amino acids. But you can definitely do it. That's why I say it doesn't really matter if you're carnivore, keto, vegetarian, Mediterranean, whatever your diet is, you need the protein. And that is what's really going to build muscle. And when women start getting more protein, their body starts leaning out because it's a highly thermogenic food. So we can learn more about protein later, but it really is beneficial, and that's one of the main things we work on. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. Protein's the main goal. It's the highest thermogenic macronutrients. So thermogenic just means it takes more calories to break it down, and your body is just burning more fuel when you're getting that protein in. So it's so important. And then another step in menopause weight loss is metabolic switching. So how many of you have done a diet, but then you hit a plateau? Or you've done a workout and then you hit a plateau? Um, that's why we do metabolic switching because it helps your body keep your metabolism revved up. So we avoid plateaus by switching it up. So we do carb cycling. So if you join me and I'm your coach, I will help you know your macros and you'll have low carb days and regular carb days. So the carb cycling just helps your body switch it up. So it doesn't know what you're doing because your brain does not like change. Your brain wants you to stay safe. That's why it's hard to make changes in anything, in your relationships, in parenting skills, whatever it is, when you have to change, it's very challenging. So carb cycling switches it up for you, and your metabolism has to keep guessing. And then also having a fasting schedule. And fasting has so many wonderful benefits, and every religion does it, right? It's been around for thousands of years. And that's the carb cycling and the fasting help your hormones and your metabolism. So we're going to talk a little bit more about fasting here. So for spiritual reasons, Jesus fasted 40 days before he fought the devil. And I love that because it reminds me of the mental clarity he had. And also Moses fasted 40 days. And there's many benefits in the Bible about fasting. And I won't go into all of that, but I made a video on my YouTube channel about fasting. If you want that, let me know. And then, of course, the physical benefits. There's so many benefits, and we learned from Dr. Mindy Pelz, Pelz. She wrote a book called Fast Like a Girl, and she talks about like if you're premenopausal, so you still have a cycle, certain way to fast, and then if you're postmenopausal, how to do it. So we share all that in our group. And if I'm coaching you one-on-one, of course, I want to help you get the best fasting schedule for your body type. But it really makes a difference. And a lot of us, we start with just maybe 12 hours. And that's maybe if you're just eating from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. And I think most of us can do that. And we have little tips and tricks to help us not nighttime snack, because that's a big thing to overcome. But once you get past that, then it gets easier. Then you move to 15, 17, get into autophagy, where all the unhealthy cells that carry viruses and Sicknesses, they start dying away when you fast longer fasts. And then you get to 24 hours. And a lot of you are like, I could never do that. And I was the same way. I thought I could never do a 24-hour fast. But now it's really pretty easy. And when you do that, you have a whole gut health reset. It will change your microbiome, and which is amazing. And I just listened to a really good podcast today about the microbiome. If anybody wants that, message me, I'll send it to you. But so many benefits. And then when you get to 36 hours, that's the fat burning or belly fat burning fast. And the 36 hours is just amazing. And we help you get on that schedule. So you don't have to walk in knowing all of this. But I'm just saying, fasting is huge. It helps prevent heart disease, diabetes. It lowers inflammation. I just noticed I misspelled that. Increases fat loss, improves brain health, and more. And then, I always say that's really all we do, y'all. That's easy. So I always say set yourself up for success with mindset. And I think that's one of the things that I have learned the best with coaching is mindset. I was a corporate health coach. I've coached the state of Tennessee and the state of Georgia at a company called Healthways, and it was wonderful. And I learned so much about mindset, and we use motivational interviewing. So a lot of times I'll do a lot of trainings, and it's really we just focus on mindset. We don't even talk about the diet and the exercise because that's easy. That's a program that works. We got that. But when you say you can do something, you will do it. When you believe in yourself. And I think our mindset really starts with God, of course. Everything I want to do and say is around Jesus. I believe He tells us I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if He puts it on your heart to do it, you can do it. But we have to believe in ourselves also. And then, of course, the meal plans. I have a 4-week meal plan with grocery lists and all of that. For those who really love to cook, I'm very simple. I share what I eat, and I like to keep it simple because the more you start thinking about food, the more food noises gets in your head. And a lot of people, they, read cookbooks for fun and go to the grocery store and look for hours at all the herbs and spices. And to me, that just takes up too much space in my brain. I like to keep it simple. So the meal plans I have are pretty simple. And we went on our first retreat and made some of those meal plans. They were awesome. Awesome. So much fun. And then the workouts, like I said, I use progressive overload. A lot of people have quit going to the gym because they love doing my workouts. And during my workouts, I do preach a little bit. So some of the testimonies may talk about that. But I love to encourage and inspire because to me, working out is an act of worship because God says to honor your body. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. So I know it's not as important as our spirit because that's what lives forever with or without God, but our body is our temporary home. And I do believe in my heart, God wants us to be healthy, strong, and fit because He may call you to do something big. And if you don't have the energy or the strength to do it, you're going to miss out on that blessing. And I don't want anybody to miss out on God's blessings. And then the accountability. If you're coaching one on one with me, it is like 100% accountability. We text every day, we do phone calls once a week. You've got me. And in the group, the accountability is the group. And of course, I'm there too. But it's so much fun. And we share what we eat and we look for each other. It's just awesome. And then in my program, you can expect to lose 10 to 50 pounds. We aim for 1 pound a week. And there's going to be obstacles. So I'm just telling you straight up, it's not a straight line. And I can show that to y'all if anybody wants to see my journey, but it's not a straight line. You will have little ups and downs. You might not see the scale move for a few days, and then all of a sudden you're down 3 pounds. So, like I said, you can't just go by the scale, but overall, that's what you can expect to lose is 1 pound a week. Some people like to go more, but I don't like you to go more because it's not sustainable. If you lose weight too fast, you can't keep it up. You're going to end up gaining it back. So it's best to be steady and make lifestyle changes. And of course, this depends on your goal and your consistency. I think Carrie's told me she just needed to lose 5 pounds. And I was like, 5 pounds? But she wanted the accountability. She wanted the workouts. And it worked and she saw the changes that she wanted. And then you're going to hear from Jessica, who has a goal of 50 pounds, and she's almost there. And I'm just so proud. So it doesn't matter how much you want to lose, this program works. And I love this picture. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. Don't stop. It will be worth it. And that's the thing, it's consistency. If you don't give up, you will reach your goal. You may have some pitfalls, you'll have some obstacles, and that's life. That's life. Things happen. But if you keep going and don't give up, you will get there. And that's what I'm here for. And also, one thing I love about our group is we have weekly challenges, and it just keeps that as a focus. Now, why hire a coach? You can do this on your own. If you're highly motivated, you may not need a coach. But if you want to get there faster, save time, energy, I will guide you step by step so you can see the results sooner and stop wasting time on what doesn't work. I've done the research. I've walked this path myself. I know what works for women after menopause, so you don't have to figure it out alone. You'll avoid stress and frustration. Weight loss after menopause is different. I help you avoid the confusion and overwhelm so you can focus on what matters most, your transformation. And what's included. I get this message all the time. Of course, you get unlimited calls and texts with me. Anytime you need help, I want you to reach out. What's more frustrating to me is when you ignore me. Don't ignore me. If you sign up, please stay connected with me. And of course, we do our text messaging, our calling, our Zoom calls. We do Zoom calls every week. Um, and I give you, of course, healthy recipes with macros included, meal plans with grocery list, prepping directions, and cheat sheets to make it easy. So if you're stuck, you're like, okay, I need help on a high fat day. Okay, I'm sending you all the high fat foods. And then I share what I eat. In our group, we post what we eat every day. It's so helpful and beneficial. Strength training workouts every week. You can do at home with dumbbells. Sometimes I do use a stability ball, which you can order those on Amazon or go into any store, sporting goods store. They're awesome for your core. And then a mat. And sometimes the booty band, and they sell those pretty much everywhere now too. And then weekly Zoom calls for support, mindset, prayer, Q&A, and challenges. I love all of that. And I would love to be your coach. So let's schedule a chat to make a plan for you. All right, y'all are still here. Okay, good. It's so funny when I'm talking, I can't see you. I hope that really did answer a lot of your questions and help you. So hopefully you wrote some notes. Hopefully you have some questions. And we are going to get right into the testimonials now because I want you to hear from other people, not just me. Just to wrap up, I didn't tell y'all about my whole journey, but so I started out weighing 140. That's my healthy weight as an adult. And then I got up to 155. So 15 pounds may not sound like a huge amount to you, but it really was to me. And it wasn't just the weight, it was the emotional baggage I was carrying from moving, not having pets, my kids growing up and going through all kinds of stuff. It was a hard time, the pandemic. It was through all of that. And then, of course, the, hormonal imbalance. But got the help I needed. And I really believe in creating a vision for what you want. So I had a vision of a magazine picture of a body that I wanted, and I chopped off her head and put my head on it. And I would walk and say every day, I weigh 140, I weigh 140. I was just, walking all the time saying that. And eventually I got to 140. And I thought that was so easy. I'm going to keep going. And I remembered in college, I weighed 125. So I just kept walking. I weigh 125. I weigh 125. When you speak things, they happen. It starts in your thoughts, and then you got to speak it. And now I weigh 125. I have gone down to like 121, and then I'm like, okay, that's too much, and then back up to 127. But that's kind of my happy place is around 125. So I'm just here to tell you it's not all about the number, but it can be done. It can be done. So let me pass the torch, the talking stick. I'm going to start out with Jessica. Jessica and I met on Facebook. We're both part of the Juice Plus community. And she told me she had tried a ton of programs and she couldn't stick with any of them. that she tried different things, didn't work. She's a homeschool mom. She has 6 kids. She lives on a farm in Ohio, has cows. She's out birthing cows sometimes when I'm talking to her. I mean, it's just amazing. She loves the Lord so much and wants her main focus is God and family. And I love that so much about her, but she really wanted to lose this weight. And I'm gonna just let you finish. I'm gonna mute out and Jessica, you take over.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Angel. I really appreciate just um our relationship as well and our friendship that has grown in these last 8, almost 9 months, I think, or something now. Time just really flies. But anyway, yes, I'm 42, perimenopausal. Yeah, 6 kids, one's married, so 5 still at home. Our second one just graduated, so I still have 4 that I'm homeschooling. So we're still busy, but it's good busy. So before. Where was I when I came to Angel? So, I was in oh, I wrote this down today because I I remember the things I used to think in my head. Well, I guess I'm just going to be overweight forever. I've done all the things I can do, and it's not working, and I might as well just accept it. Like I was to that point of I'm just going to accept being in this health state, and it's not going to change. I've done all the things, right? And so the first thing I thought was, well, I'll get to that in just a second. But first, I want to say where I was. So, I tried a lot of things. I've done it all. I did Taibo in college, lost 15 pounds to get my wedding dress, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to that. So in my 30s, I was doing that. So a lot of that high cardio, right? And it worked to some degree. Okay, as I got closer to 40, things were starting to not work. That's when I did keto. I did low carb. I did the tracking app. I did Weight Watchers. And like I said, a lot of cardio, because that seems to be what you hear is you've got to do all this cardio to lose weight. I never heard a lot about the strength training ever. Um, and I would get to a point in each of those where I would plateau, and then I would just kind of fall off the bandwagon. Like, oh, I just feel stuck. And the other thing is I never felt satisfied. So some of you are like, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. That was me. That was me all the way. And it was so frustrating because it's just so hard to be hungry all the time. And it's just like it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And that was my mindset. So my mindset was in a really bad place. I was sick a lot. I was going to a lot of holistic doctors. Just would get sick really easy. The kids get something, I get it, and I get it 3 times as long. It was so frustrating. Tired all the time. I needed to take a nap in the afternoon, drink a lot of coffee, all that stuff. So how I met Angel was through Juice Plus. And I had another Juice Plus friend that introduced me to her page. We're just in passing, just talking about, oh yeah, this Angel, and she's into fitness, and she's just really fun to, she's got a really great post and everything. So this was last, let's see, in 2024. I think in the spring of 2024. And so then at Christmas time, right after, around Christmas, I think it might have been before or right after, somewhere in there, I happened to see her post about her coaching, and she was going to start coaching one-on-one. And at first I was like, nah, I've tried all the things. And then I was like, you know what? It just kept coming back to my mind. It's time to do something for you. Maybe there's something you're not doing that she can help you with. And so I thought of that verse in 1 Corinthians 16. I think it's verse 19, 20, and it talks about your body's a temple of the Holy Spirit, and you are to honor your body as that temple. And that really spoke to me. So I was like, okay, I need to honor this body that God has given me. So I started with the one-on-one coaching, and before I came to the group, and I've been in the group since. So 6 weeks of the one-on-one, and that really helped me to focus on, because I told Angel, I said I need to know exactly. I've done all these things. There's got to be something I'm not figuring out. And so that's where I started. And now I'm in the group for accountability, fellowship, and just when you're doing with other people, that camaraderie of everyone together and holding each other up in faith. I mean, I think almost all of us are believers, and it's just so awesome to like see people post verses and encourage each other when we go through something, and it's just wonderful. So now where am I? I'm not to my goal yet. My goal is to be there by the end of this year. So I started, I think I told you, I started December 30th, 2024. I have now lost 27.5 inches and 40 pounds since that day. And it feels like I've lost a toddler. I mean, it just feels like a toddler has come off my body. I have done 3 body scans. I'm going to do another one, I think, next week. But after the second one, the trainer where I went, I did an in body scan. That's what I've been doing. I found one that's about 25 minutes away. And the trainer, he's really awesome, but he's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Are you on weight loss drugs? And he was just like baffled that I wasn't on Ozempic or something. And I'm like, no. And so I told him about Angel. And he actually, the next time I went, he's like, I looked her up. He's like, that's like really legit. And I was like, yeah. He's like, she's a real person. I was like, yeah. And so, but he's asked me tons of questions. And I just love it when he's there when I go back because he's like always asking me stuff. And he sees the scale weight going down, the fat coming down, but the muscle going up, which is awesome. It's so exciting to see that. But now I have more energy. I have struggled with a lot of over the years with reflux, acid reflux, and the bloating, and of course being tired, not sleeping well. I mean, you name it, I've probably struggled with it. And what's so awesome, the non-scale victories, is I never wanted my legs to show. So whether it's shorts or skirts, and guess what I love wearing now? Like I have two denim skirts. One's a white denim skirt, and the other one is just a regular denim. And I just love them. And I feel good in them. I feel like my legs look so much better. I see the tone in my legs I've never seen. I mean, I'm not even sure if I remember in high school when I played basketball, my legs starting to look this defined. I mean, they were skinnier, but I don't remember like the definition. It's just so exciting to see that. Um, and so, what does my future look like? I did create a vision board. If you ever have followed Angel, she talks about vision boards, and she's amazing at teaching you how to do that. So I did that. I made a vision board back in January or February, and I try to look at that every single day. And the picture that I chose, she has amazing legs. So like I want amazing legs, and it's like just so exciting to see that starting to come to life. Um, but the biggest thing for me is this is sustainable. It's not like a let's just do this for 6 months or 12 months and then we'll be where we need to be and we're just going to move back. It's more than about losing the weight. It's about it's so much more. It's a mindset shift because I was very much into that negative thought pattern about lots of things in my life. And I'm now learning to say out loud daily affirmations of scriptures and things that I know are true, that I'm speaking over myself. And really, where Angel said, love yourself for who you are, like right now, that is so important because I didn't love myself, but I've learned to love myself, even though I might not be where I want to be and I'm not finished, with my goal and met my goal yet. That's okay because I know I'm going to get there. And this is something that I can sustain long term. And why do I want to do it? Because not just for my children, but I want to be able to run around with my grandchildren. With 6 kids, I mean, I could have 20 some grandkids easy. I mean, I just keep teasing about it, but, but it's true. And also, Jesus says in John 10:10 that he came to give us life and to give it abundantly. Why? I've asked myself, why do I not want that abundant life? We have to go after it. I think that that's another misconception is it's just going to come to us. It's not always just going to come to us. There are things that there's a cost to it, and we have to go after it. And Jesus said, do you want to be well, in scripture? And it's like we have to say yes. We have to actively go after it. And so I just encourage you, if that's where you are, that's where I've been. And I'm confident that I can do this for the rest of my life because it is whole food. It's real food. It's real living. It's not something that's just a fad or just a diet that you can go off of at some point. And it's it's real food like God intended it. That's what he intends us to live off of is real food. And so there was a podcast that Angel, I know you'll know which one I'm talking about. That this is something I've been saying to myself. There was a man who had to lose, I think, over 100 pounds, and he was doing the 24 or 23-hour fast and eating one meal a day. And he said, I'm losing the weight and never going back. And he encourages you to just get rid of those clothes as you lose the weight. Just get rid of them. You're not going back. And that's what I've been saying to myself. I'm telling myself this. I'm losing the weight and I'm never going back because I feel so good. I remember now when I eat a little too much of the processed carbs, I start to feel like really sluggish and lethargic. And I'm like, wow, that's how I used to feel all the time. I don't want to do this again. And so once you get to that place and fasting, like I couldn't even do 15 hours. I mean, I remember telling Angel, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I can't. And I thought, I want to get to 17, but 15, I'm stuck. And I was just like almost feel sick. And um I was feeling dizzy and lightheaded. I mean, I went through a lot of that. So if you're in that place where you're like, I just can't get past it, just increase it 15 minutes at a time. Just I'm saying baby steps, baby steps. Consistency is the key. Don't fall off the bandwagon. You will get there. I just finished a 42 hour this month. Would have never thought I could ever do 42 hours. So please hear me when I say it can be done. So my total goal is 61 pounds. So I'm down 40 and I know I'm going to get there. So I just encourage you, if you have a big weight loss goal, don't give up. God has abundant life for you and you can do this. And with the help of this group and Angel, I mean, there's just no stopping you what God can do. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. So I hope that's encouraging. And I love this group and I love all these people that are in it. And it's just been a blast. So thank you.
We love you. Oh my gosh, she's such a bright light. So, like Jessica said, she started with me with the one-on-one. So I do have one-on-one coaching. If you have, tried some different things, you have a good mind about health and nutrition, it's great. It's 6 weeks. And then if you want to join the group, you can. You don't have to. If you want to join the group as a graduate, of course, it's a huge discount. But one-on-one is awesome, and I love it. I love both. One-on-one in the group, it really depends on you and your personality and what you like. All right, I'm going to pick Michelle now. So, Michelle, tell us where you were before, why you joined, what's going on in your life, and then the results you've gotten and why you would recommend it.
Okay, where I was before, I've struggled with my weight since I was a teenager, and it was a lot of unhealthy choices and trauma response. But um, so I've been on a roller coaster all my life, and I started running in 2010 at age 42, and I loved it because everybody left me alone. I was my daughter was 3, our son was 6, and so it was and I was a stay-at-home mom, so it was constantly mom, 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 mom. When I was running, I didn't hear any of that. It was just me and nature and God, and I loved it. But and I lost weight, and I felt really good, and kept it off for a long time. And then in 2020, I started struggling to exercise. I had severe headaches. Didn't know I was growing a ping pong size tumor in my brain. So when we got that figured out and that taken care of, that helped that in. But then we rolled right into COVID. So I went from a hospital bed on November 7th to I was going to walk Burro Dash, which is a 4 mile walk run here in Murfreesboro. And I was so excited because I went from not being able to do anything to I was walking 5 miles a day and doing really well. Well, because of the epidemic, it was canceled and it crushed me. And I thought, you people don't understand some of these things mean a lot. It's not just to get out and exercise before you stuff your face with Thanksgiving dinner, but so it really set me back. And I have struggled for a long time to really get back on track. And then menopause and all the joys of hormone imbalance and gaining weight. Just it started piling on. And the first of the year, I was so depressed. And like Jessica, it's like, fine, I'm just going to be fat, whatever. This is how life is. And, but then I got to thinking about my mom, who is in the nursing home. And about 98% of the reason she is there is because she is so heavy and so weak. She just physically can't take care of herself. I mean, The rest of her body is fine. Her heart's good. Everything's fine, but she's just heavy and can't take care of herself. And I thought, I cannot do that. And then I started seeing Angel's post about, you know, have you put on weight during menopause and do you need help getting this off? And like, yeah, but I can't afford any fancy program and all the fancy food and all that stuff. And but then I just kept watching and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna text her, see what this is about. And we were on Christmas break vacation and I'm texting her back and forth and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do this. And like Jessica said, it's real food, like God intended. And it's something that I definitely can do the rest of my life because, there's been so many other things that you get the protein bars, you get the protein drinks, you do this for, a set amount of time, but then it gets boring and expensive. And so you just quit and then the weight's back with a vengeance. But um, I started about the first of the year, and by the end of April, I'd lost about 16 pounds, and I've kept that off. Um, in the future, I'd like to lose probably 5 to 10 more, but I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I feel good, and I've kept that off. There's a pound or two here and there, but bounces back and forth. But I'm a fat bottom girl, and I have lost about, let's see, I hadn't really ever just penciled this out before, but I was looking, I've lost about 5 inches off my hips and about 2 inches off of each thigh, which for me is huge, literally. But it's things that I have picked up, throughout my journey, intermittent fasting, um, and calorie deficits. And, I had not really been into weight training before. And I wish I had known all this stuff when I was running. I would have been so much better off. But Angel has just helped put a lot of pieces together of the puzzle that I've gathered through my own research and study, and just the support and knowing she's been there, done that helps a lot because, when you have some little 20 something thing yapping in your ear about, and, look at my double chin. I'm like, you hardly have a single chin, but okay, whatever. But the encouragement from Angel and from the other people in the group has been fantastic. And I can't say enough good about it. And it is a lifestyle you can carry on the rest of your life.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I love that she lives close to me and I got some fresh eggs from her chickens the other week. That was so awesome. But yeah, just seeing, I mean, 5 inches is a lot. 5 inches is a lot around the hips. And when you have that one area, you really, like you said, you want to work on the bottom. That's just so incredible. I'm so thankful that you joined. And yeah, we met through another person in Juice Plus, and we related because we had the brain tumors. So I'm glad you shared that part too. All right, so now you shared this actually with Jennifer. And so now I'm going to have Jennifer share her story, and she hasn't shared her story really with us yet. So this will be her first time, and just tell us, where you were before, why you joined, what this has done for you, any results, and then, of course, end it with why you would recommend it.
Okay, so I joined because I saw the results that Michelle got, and I thought, well, that's pretty awesome. So I was curious as to how to have that happen for me too. I've only been a part of this for, I think, about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and I joined again, mostly because I saw Michelle's results, and I knew Angel already a little bit, But there was a lot of, I needed a change. There was a lot of food noise in my head because you see all this stuff like you should eat this and don't eat that and make sure you don't eat after this time, and oh wait, you're supposed to do this exercise and not this one. And so it was a lot of just craziness in my brain more than normal. And so I just needed the help of organizing that information and finding out exactly what I needed to do. And that's what Angel helped me with, the getting the macros figured out and all that and everything. I had tried other programs before and I would lose the weight, but I wouldn't learn how to eat to sustain that weight loss. It would just be like, buy this and this will help you lose that weight. And I would, but then it would just come back on. And so it was just a constant cycle that I was kind of in, and all. And so I am perimenopause. So like, I haven't quite hit that yet with menopause, but you have all the crazy hormones and your sleep is off and we're starting to have like empty nest. Our kids are, I have a senior in high school and a junior in college. So things are starting to change a lot. And then our parents are aging and you're starting to have to parent your parents, which is kind of a interesting stage in life. And so just, the normal stuff, but it just starts to snowball. And then you see your health is starting not to decline, but just, you're not eating right. So you're not feeling right. And there's a lot of inflammation and stuff. So since July 1st, when I started, I've lost about 8 pounds. So that's been a huge thing for me just to see that, just making small changes. And like the other ladies have said, eating real food and just realizing the importance of focusing on getting your protein in because that protein is key to helping you not feel hungry like you may on other diet programs and things like that. Um, the fasting benefits have been huge. Just you wouldn't think you could go for a fast for 24 hours, but I've done, I think, three, maybe four in the last 8 weeks. But just building up to that. And I know people are like, well, that just means you're starving yourself. But it doesn't because you go into that fast preparing your body to burn off those calories and all those things that are stored up that you can't get rid of. And then when you get to come out of it, you get to have a big meal like I did tonight and stuff. So it's just really neat to see that. My clothes fit better. I have like more renewed focus on stuff, just in life in general. It's a really achievable plan. Um, you just keep it simple. I mean, that's what is that little slogan? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So like that. I feel stronger physically with the weights. I've never really lifted weights because I always thought, if you lift weights, you're gonna look like, Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. But when I don't, maybe Angel does, but but the workouts are challenging, but they're not overwhelming because sometimes in other exercise classes I've done, I'm like, what are we doing? That's just insane. I don't know how to make myself do that or whatever. So it's not too complicated. Mostly, there's a few things I'm like, Angel, I'm not sure I can do that today, but I will try. So and then I'm not at the 20 and 25 pounds yet, but you start where you're at. So like just 3 pounds or 5 or 7 or whatever. But I'm up to doing 15s at my heaviest now. So that's a huge thing for me. I can tell that with I go to bar class with Christy and some of the stuff we do there, I'm like, oh, I can actually do this. And it's not like it's like a side plank with your one arm or whatever. And I'm like, my arm is not shaking, because we've been doing the weightlifting or lifting weights, whatever, and stuff. So that's been huge for me to see that result. And then just having the tools to know what to do. And then I've asked Angel different questions like, hey, how do I do this carb cycling thing? Because that's been hard for my brain to wrap around. But once you just slowly start getting it. And have I had perfect days? So no, there's always something I've maybe messed up on, but just progress over perfection. I have to keep telling myself that. And then that the consistency is the key. And so my goal is to lose about 20 pounds. And then after that, we'll see where we go from there. But that's kind of my journey. And so I
Love
hope
it.
that helps.
I love it. I love it. When you said Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm unmuted because I do love Arnold. That's like my secret crush, y'all. Not now, but when in the 80s. We'll go back to the 80s, that Arnold. But every time I hear us, they have those Facebook sounds or Instagram sounds, and when it's him talking, I'm like, I love it. I love it. But anyway, I love it. I love your story. And yeah, I love that it's repetition. We don't hear it one time and get it. And I don't want anybody to ever think, okay, I didn't understand that, so I'm out. No, that's a closed-minded mindset. You want to have a growth mindset. Like, I didn't quite catch that. So explain that again and explain that again. And you want to ask me questions. That's what I love. I love it when y'all ask me questions and then we get down to it, really, because everybody's unique. And we all come from a different background. We've experienced different things, so we see it differently. So I love that you mentioned that. Thank you. All right, and we're going to finish up one more testimony. Y'all remember to write down your questions. Karen, Karen and I actually met at Crunch Fitness. Her daughter took my classes. Karen came, and I love it when mothers and daughters come because y'all know I have a daughter. I love it, love it. And then we did a backyard Bible study together, which was awesome. And when you said you wanted to join this, I was like, I was excited. I was so excited because we never really talked about weight. And look at you, I wouldn't think you need to lose weight or anything like that. But I was just so excited. And I want you to share kind of where you were, why you wanted to do it. And the same thing, your results. Everybody wants to hear results. And then why you think this is a great program.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to start doing it. My mom this has been probably the hardest year of my mom's life with her health. She had radiation for lung cancer and she had colon surgery. And she had a complication from her colon surgery, and I'm her caregiver. And I was in a bad shape mentally, and I wanted to become stronger mentally and physically to help take care of her for the rest of her life if I have to. And I also, because of her health, I want to be proactive about my health and honor God with my body, and hopefully prevent any sickness. I know you never know what tomorrow holds, but as being proactive as I can, I want to prevent that. I want to live to be an old lady and have my grandbabies too someday, maybe. And so that was my why. And Angel's program gives you all of that. I think the mindset is what I love the most because you learn scripture. I've quoted Hebrews 11:1 over and over because I can be negative, but no, you have to have faith and you have to see it. And that's in the Bible. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And everything, like Michelle said, it's just all the pieces of the puzzle work together. And it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And I was like, well, do I really need to spend the money? And then I'm like, well, spend it now. And then when I'm in my 80s, I'll really be glad I spent that money because it's worth every penny. And I've heard another lady say that the last time, that it's worth every penny that you spend to be proactive for yourself. And one of my favorite things to do, I've always loved to walk, but I've never walked more than maybe 1 or 1.5 miles. And now every morning I get up and I look forward to walking 3 miles. And I get my 10,000 steps in that day. That's still not 10,000 steps, but it gets me over the hump. And then when I'm just doing all my chores at home, it gets me to my 10,000 steps a day. And I think walking has helped me with stress with my mom, stress with life, stress with everything. My son's in Colorado right now. That's been stressful today. And it's helped, I think, with my back also, because I've had some issues with sciatica. And since I've been walking, which just sounds weird because you think, oh, you rest, your back would get better. But this walking 3 miles, it seems like the pain has, some days it's not there, some days it is there, but it's not as intense. So everything is just wonderful. The whole foods, I didn't do great on that today, but it's been a stressful day. But I usually eat, I love eggs, avocado, the Greek yogurt. I can handle cottage cheese if I put sugar-free jelly in it or jam. And I think this is my 60th day, and I'm down 14 pounds. And I want to maintain that. And if I lose a couple more, that's fine. But if I don't lose a couple more, I'm really okay with my weight right now. I just want to get stronger. I'm only at 10 pounds, but I want to keep going and going and going. Those 10 pounds are tough right now, but I'm keep going on it. And I would recommend this program to anyone. I'm 55, I'm postmenopausal, and it's worked like a charm. And it's wonderful. Angel's wonderful. I've never met anyone that loves Jesus as much as Angel. And I just love her. And that's it.
You're gonna
I'm
make
done.
me cry. You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, our pastor was saying, talking about we're in Ephesians, and Sunday he was saying how those who have been forgiven much love much. You know, the woman with the alabaster jar when she's at Jesus's feet, and all the religious people were like, she's wasting so much money on that, and da 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 da. And Jesus, like, she loves me. She's been forgiven for a lot. And it brings me tears because I was a wreck, y'all, a wreck. And 33 years ago, I remember giving my heart to the Lord, and I've never been the same. I've never looked back. And He just reminds me over and over how good He's been to me. And I did have a recent health little scare. It was all good now, thank God. But I made a video and I put it on my YouTube channel, 10 practical things I did to build my faith during that time. So if anybody's in a health crisis or knows somebody, I think that might be really helpful. And honestly, I know Jesus has healed me, and I know He's my Savior and my deliverer. And that's my number one thing. I want everybody to know the Lord. And, whatever you do for your job or for your career, whatever, mine's, fitness. I've always been into fitness and then health coaching. I just want to use that to glorify God and to help as many women as I can. And I think when we help the women, that is going to roll over to their children. So you're literally changing generations. We're literally breaking off generational curses. Sandy, I think your dog's listening to me. Okay. He was looking at the camera for a minute. And then usually, y'all, the husbands come along. So even if your husband is not on board right away, he usually comes along. My husband's a pharmacist, and I'm always the crunchy, mom, coach. But we work together, of course, and he does believe in trying to prevent things. But when I listen to all these podcasts about different, natural ways of healing, it's hard to get him on board. But y'all, our cupboards have changed. Our refrigerator has changed. And it may take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. We're so used to quick fixes, but I just want to encourage you, if you do those baby steps, things will happen and God will bless your home, your health, and your family. You just can't give up. That's the point. Never give up. So I hope this helped y'all. Now I want some questions. It could be if you're in the group, if you're not in the group, if you haven't started yet, or if you've done it. Anybody have questions for me or for one of the ladies that spoke?
I had a question. This is Kim,
Yes.
by the way. Yeah, I just wonder because for a while, and I don't know if we talked about it a lot since I've been kind of doing this, doing your program is about the OMAD diet. Because I was so used to doing one meal a day. And so I'm struggling with that because I want to try to get all the protein in and everything. But I sometimes I feel bloated anyway because of the menopause. So I've been increasing my protein and things like that, but I have trouble with bloating and wondering if how much I should be eating or if I should weigh my food or what.
Yeah, you need to be weighing your food because when you log
Oh,
your food, you want to be accurate. And I shared, actually, I saw a video today and I'm going to share it tomorrow. I haven't shared it yet, but it's because I wanted to get y'all on here first. I'm just talking about coaching, but it's a guy talking about measuring food. And when you eyeball it, you're not going to get it right. But
right.
when you measure it, you will get it right. And that's so important. OMAD stands for one meal a day. And I do that if I do a 24-hour fast. So I'll just explain kind of how that works. So if you eat at 3 p.m., your dinner, then the next day you won't eat again until 3 p.m. and then you have dinner. But I don't just sit and eat one plate of food. I'll eat
Okay.
for a few hours. Like
Okay.
I'll have, I'll start out with bone broth or something like that to coat your gut lining. And I'll teach you all this when you start. So you do that, and then you want to get your protein, and of course bone broth has a lot of protein in it. But you may eat, chicken, vegetables. Then you may have some chocolate protein powder with a little yogurt to give you a little dessert. So you don't just eat one little thing.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and you don't eat till you're stuffed and sick. You always want to listen to your
Yeah.
body. If you've had enough, you've had enough. But you don't eat OMAD every day if you can't get in your protein. Do it once a
Okay.
week.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I'm glad you
Thank
asked.
you.
Anybody else got a question? All right. Karen, did you have something to say?
No.
Okay. Sometimes I look at you and I'm thinking, is she wanting to say something? All right. Well, thank y'all for being on. I know this was long, but I appreciate you all for being on. And thank you, ladies, for sharing your stories. And if I can, answer anything later, you think about something, just reach out. I know a lot of people had to get off because it's on the East Coast, it's definitely getting later. So, anyway, thank y'all again so much. And I wanted to let you know our times next week, and I'll post and I'll message everybody too. But we're going to do Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, because I'm starting a new Bible study with my daughter. I would do the daytime study, but she teaches, so she has to do the nighttime. And I want to be with her as much as I can. Y'all know how that is. And then I will have the Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time. I was doing that and then people just quit coming. So I quit, but we'll try it again. So you can either choose Wednesday or Tuesday night at 7 Central or Wednesday 12 noon Central. All right. All right. Love y'all. Have a good night. Mwah.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.